Okay. So hi everyone, and thank you, Yan. And I was really excited to be here today. And thank you all for coming. So for today's topic, I'm going to teach you how to play Dart. So the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the Dart or darts, so it might be the game that you play that you can score. But the Dart that I'm going to talk about today is not the one, not that one, but something related to programming. And so let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to start off with a brief introduction of myself. So I am currently a Code Chrysalis student. And before coming here, I couldn't read a single line of code. And I just started coding this year. And now I am on week 8 of immersive course and learn Dart as my second programming language. I'm super surprised as myself. And also, by the way, I'm a big fan of ramen. So when I study abroad, I always miss ramen in Japan. And so let me know if you know. Let me know if you know any good ramen around, and I would love to try it. So here's today's agenda. First of all, I'm going to briefly talk about what is Dart, Dart Flutter, or why Dart, and then the second, I will do a short demo with a thing called Dartpad, and third, I will show some apps that use Flutter, and the last will be my apps that I created during my Polyglot week. Okay. So first, what is Dart? So needless to say, Dart is a programming language. So Dart is a programming language that developed by Google. It is one of the fastest growing language inside Google and is used by internal products like AdWords, Flutter, Fuchsia, Angular Dart, and so on. And outside of Google, companies like Adobe, Alibaba, the world's biggest marketplace, also are using this language in production. So when you're learning a new technology, in this case, a new language, you're going to invest a lot of time in it, right? And then you want to be very cautious about how it is right now, and then how it is going to be its future. Because the last thing that you want to see is that when you learn this, when you're spending months learning it, and then you don't want it to go out of industry. So, but for Dart, you can worry about everything else, but you will never worry about the development and maintenance of the language itself. And another feature of Dart is that Dart supports both Android and iOS, and even a thing called Fuchsia. So Fuchsia is also an operating system currently developing by Google, and it doesn't support Kotlin or Java, but Dart. And its user interface and apps are written with a framework called Flutter. So what is Flutter? I'm going to briefly talk about Flutter. So Flutter, first, it is an SDK. It is a software development kit that it is a collection of tools that are going to help you develop your applications, and it will compile them into native machine code. And so in this case, so if you have a frozen pizza, SDK is the oven for it. And another thing that Flutter is that it is a framework. It is a UI library based on a thing called widgets. So it is a collection of reusable UI elements. So this is widget. So like buttons, text inputs, sliders, and so on is widget. Everything is widget in Flutter. And so you can personalize as you wish, like as you want to show on your app. So Flutter is relatively a new technology, but it gets more and more popular each day. And if you check the number of available Flutter jobs worldwide on LinkedIn, for example, you can see a lot of new jobs get posted each day. And more than 4,000 Flutter jobs are available just on LinkedIn. Comparing to last year, it was only a few hundreds. So it comes to a question that why Dart? Why I picked Dart as my second language, and then why I'm suggesting you to do so. Other than the fact that Dart is backed by Google and it is used by Flutter, I will go over a couple reasons that you should learn Dart. So first, it's flexibility. The Dart is a very flexible language that you can write your code and then run it anywhere, mostly anywhere without any limitations. So the apps written in Dart with Flutter are cross-platform native apps so that they can run on both Android and iOS. And you can even write web apps that code can compile so that code can run on any browser since it can be compiled to JavaScript. So for a developer, its flexibility is really important because you want to run your code on as many platforms as possible. And the second reason is that it is easy to learn. So the syntax itself is a mixture of Java, Java and C#. So a lot of developers says that you might already know Dart. So if you have some experience in language, it doesn't have to be some object-oriented language, but then you can already pretty productive in Dart within a couple weeks. I'm not saying that there's nothing new about Dart, but the new ideas introduced in Dart are very intuitive and it won't take that long to master. So the Dart syntax seems extremely familiar even at the first glance. And the last reason is that it is an open source. What's good to be an open source is that a good thing about open source is that instead of a small amount of people working on a project, you potentially have massive numbers. And also that you don't have to worry about all those licensing issues since Dart is open source from the beginning. And so that different from Java, that you don't have to worry like someone may sue you for using their language, or you have to pay anyone or company just for using it. Yeah. So far, I've explained a couple reasons that why Dart is good overall, and I hope you have a bit of an interest in learning it. And next, I will do a short demo with a thing called Dartpad. So Dartpad is an online code editor for Dart language. And if you want to try Flutter but don't want to set up all those development environment, Dartpad is very useful. So this Dartpad thing executes both Dart program and also Flutter. So Flutter program, so you can see its graphic output on it. So let me pull out Dartpad. So this is what I call Dartpad, and hold on. This is Dartpad. So if you click on the right corner, samples here, it got a lot of sample projects, and I will pick some flower. It seems very interesting. And so the left side would be the source code, and then the right side would be its output. So it will look exactly on your device. And if, for example, if you click on this pane keyword and click documentation here, one of the good things about Dartpad is that it will show the documentation right here, so you don't have to look it up. And another feature is that if you drag and resize the window here, you can see how it is going to look like on different devices. And the last feature about Dartpad is that it supports gist. So what gist is that it is so you can execute script online. So let me pull out a sample gist code here. And let me copy the ID here and into Dartpad. Okay, and it is running. Click run. So yeah, here's the sample, how the sample code shows, and it seems like it is a counter, so can be used for shopping app. What a good thing about this gist is that so if you have a source code that you want to get feedback from, customers and testers, you can just share this source code with them so that they don't have to set up all those development environment, but still can give you feedbacks. So far, I've briefly introduced about this Dartpad, and let's write something on Dartpad. So I create a new pad, and let me delete this. So let's try to print hello world into console. I'm going to write. So what I'm doing here is that when it runs, it automatically looks for a main function. So you have to have a main function. So since Dart is a type language, you have to specify the type of this function. And since it doesn't return anything, so I write void, and main is the function name. So within that, I'm going to write print. So print and pass the hello world. If you click on print, it will show that what print is doing is it print a string representation of the object to the console. And if I run it, you will see hello world in the console. Okay, then next, let's try to let's try to show hello world into our actual Flutter app. So let me import Flutter. So I import a package here and write a function called runapp. And what runapp is doing that, it is taking widgets to the screen. So I'm going to pass into this function so that it can print. Okay, when I run it, it's not going to show anything, but we don't see any errors. But it is because that Flutter wants to know whether the text direction, whether it is from left to right or right to left. So I'm going to specify the text direction. It's left to right. Okay. And if you run it, okay, there you go. So we see the left corner, there's hello world showed up. And if you want to put hello world into the middle of the app, I would just wrap it with center as its parent. If you run it, it has one error that shows too many positional arguments. It is because the center only takes one child. I have to specify its child. And if you run it, okay, then you see hello world in the center of the app. And this is the minimum app that you can make. And it only takes you 5 minutes. So also Dartpad has this formatting. So if I add some comment, it will automatically format for you. Yeah. So let's go back to my presentation. So far we've seen this Dartpad, and the next I will talk about who uses Dart, and we will take a look at how companies are using Flutter to make beautiful apps. So the first I will talk about it. So the first app that we got is Google Ads. So it is an app to promote your app. It is an online advertising platform developed by Google so that users can pay and promote their products and services on Google Search, YouTube, and all other sites across the web. And this is how their user interface looks like. So in the middle, it got the listing, and then the left is the overview, and right is your user account. And so users can manage multiple accounts from one login and dashboard. And the next one that I found very interesting is this smartphone app that called Insight Timer. So it is an online community for meditation. And So this is how the app looks like. So it got the timer for you to meditate and courses from by the teachers all over the world, and also got very soothing music for you to sleep. And the last app that I'm going to show is MGM Resorts. So if you've been to Las Vegas, you probably know MGM. It is a corporate that operate hotels like MGM Grand or Bellagio. And this is how the app looks like. So it got digital key in the middle, so that you can check in and check out contactlessly, and especially it is very useful during this time. And also with this app, you can reserve restaurants and check your status. So these were the amazing apps that use Dart with Flutter. And next, I'm going to show how my app looks like that I made during this week of Polyglotto. So first, I will do a short demo with it. So here is very simply, here is how my app looks like. It is an app whether you can draw or puzzle. So first, I will click draw, and so you can draw here, and then you can clear. And let me draw something here. Okay. And you can pick. God, this is not what I wanted, but it is actually really hard to draw with laptop. But yeah. Here, I think I'm okay. Yeah. So like this, you can draw with this. Yeah, you can draw here. And so if I swipe back to the home and click puzzle, and in puzzle, whether you can choose to take a photo or pick a image from a gallery, since I'm using emulator, I won't be able to use camera, but let me pick from my gallery. Yeah, let me pick this one. So there will be I believe it's 9-piece puzzle up here, and you can just play the puzzle. So let me try to solve this puzzle. And there you go. So yeah, this is what I made during my Polyglotto. And let's go back to my presentation. So for future, the functionality that I want to add for my app is that I would like to be able to save. Right now, the photos and the picture that you draw cannot be saved into your local devices, but I will work on it. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the Polyglotto week that I just finished on Friday. As I mentioned before, I've never learned anything related to programming like before I joined Code Chrysalis, and it's just been week 8, and I've learned a new programming language within a week, and I'd be able to build an app with it. And I'm actually very impressed and surprised at what I'm capable of, and I'm very glad to have this opportunity to do so. So yeah, this is all for my presentation. And if you're interested in me, please scan the QR code of my GitHub. And thank you, Code Chrysalis, and thank you all for listening. And I hope you have a great day.